Everyone, before we start the show, I just want to share a couple of announcements for our local audience members. If you are residing here in Richmond, I will be doing a couple of artisan events. Yeah, I said that weird. Artisan events. The first one is on October 22nd for the Fall Artisan Market at Shepherd Street Tavern, which is actually going to be hosted by my friend Renee Kelber. She's an artist who has been on the podcast before and also been featured in a couple of my event vlogs that I've posted in the past. And then later in October 29th, the Halloween RVA Moon Market at Stone Brewing is going to be happening that whole weekend. I only have a table for the 29th. This is the first time I'm going to be at the Moon Market as a vendor. I've went to a few other events in the past and just to check out the foot traffic and on all the local talent. For some people, it took them a while to get on that list. If you've heard me on previous podcasts, I've been like, I've been having a hard time getting my foot in the door with some of these events, but your boy got lucky. Mark your calendars, October 22nd and October 29th. Check out my Instagram or Facebook. Just follow the link in the show description. I'll be sharing more about these events as the days get closer. All right. Enjoy the podcast. Start the countdown. Titties. Hey there, fishy. Now don't be so coy now. What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Rated G. I'm your host, G TERADO. For those of you who are new here, welcome to the show. This is an art podcast where I usually sit down with local artists and we simply just have honest discussions and conversations about art and creativity as well as other aspects in life. Now, if you enjoyed this content, please be sure to like, subscribe if you are listening on audio, or if you are watching via YouTube, be sure to subscribe. Ring that notification bell. That way you can keep up with all the current uploads. And be sure to check out the show notes where I always provide links for my active social media as well as the featured guests on the show. And for those of you who are tuning back in, welcome back and thank you for your continued support. Now, today we won't have a guest again. I know the last episode, I want to address the last episode was I guess it was just kind of like a fill-in because that aired during the week that we were away. So now it's been about a week since being back from vacation. So I'm just getting back in my regular day-to-day groove. And yeah, so I don't know. I couldn't find it within me to just have a 1 week without an episode. I don't know. It's in my the way I operate now is like this is like a weekly podcast, and I don't know. I always just follow that rigidness and that, and like it's like a discipline. I take it as like a discipline as well. It's like I gotta have something out for every week. So yeah, that's what the last episode was. It's just gearing up for vacation, and now we've been back, and it was the vacation trip was very it was necessary. Super necessary. The last time we had any type of getaway was just for a long weekend, and we went to Charlottesville for that, which was nice, but this was absolutely needed to have like a whole week off. Um, so yeah, I had gearing up for this, I had some, I don't want to say expectations, but I had like some high hopes on things that would like certain turnouts for some of the things that we had planned. So, um, yeah, some things didn't go accordingly, but that's okay. It still turned out to be a great vacation. Um, but I'm gonna try to do a quick rundown day by day of generally what we did. So Monday, we had some things planned throughout that day. It was kind of like it was like sort of like a free for all. It was a lot of venturing out, and so we visited some of the local museums there. We first visited the Asheville Science Museum, uh, which turned out it was just open for the children. They were still expanding, so they had, they were still trying to build up. I think they were trying to raise money as well, just to help them expand and have more adult exhibits. So I was like, fuck. And it's funny because before that, I think on our way too, I had mentioned to Nicole, I was like, yeah, like I'm a bit of a skeptic now when it comes to these, the local museums, because they turn out like I'm trying to find like you know, the Metropolitan, museum, of whatever city we're visiting. So I wanted to go to like larger exhibits, museums, especially the science museums. Or like I remember the Franklin Institute in Philly, like that was a great place to go to. I mean, it was kid friendly as well, but they had like, I don't know, for like I thought that some of the shit they had for the kids were like really cool. A lot of stuff involving the anatomy, and I don't know. So I guess I just kind of had this preconceived, you know, like expectation of, hopefully like this city will have like a cool science museum. But it's, it's all good. I appreciate, their aspirations. They're trying to expand. So I actually donated some money just to help with whatever they need. And then so there was that, and then we went to the Asheville Arts Museum. It had some cool exhibits there. I just wish it had, I don't know. I think I got used to the museums here, the exhibits. So lots more variety. I mean, they did have a little bit of everything, but I was just hoping to see more more of the stuff that they had. Everything was like yeah, it wasn't like they had multiple floors, but it wasn't like a widespread. So um yeah, it was neat. One thing I do want to acknowledge is the graffiti art. There's graffiti art everywhere, which is pretty cool. I love seeing that. Just on days like when you're just walking through the city, whether you're window shopping or just really just getting your steps in and enjoying the sun and enjoying the vibe. Like I love cities like that, like small cities where yeah, you just see everyone walking their dogs, just going on about their day, and it's beautiful out. And you're just seeing all this, yeah, human interaction, and just all those shops, local businesses, all that. I love that vibe. Um, so while just walking through all that, and you get to also see these great murals around. So that was really cool. The thing that really got me excited as soon as we arrived is that it turns out Asheville is known for um being like one of the top most haunted cities in the country. And as soon as I heard that, I was like, oh shit. Because when we got to our Airbnb, they always have the book with the guide of like what you can do throughout the day. And yeah, that city is known for its paranormal history, and they have this it's called Asheville Ghost Tours. So I was like, oh shit, because the last episode I was like, man, we were doing this mansion tour, and I'm hoping I might capture something just like on the fly, which I'm gonna get into that as well. But I was talking about capturing ghosts in my videos or photos, and um yeah, so we arrive, we go through the book, and we see like, oh shit, there's ghost tours going on. So we booked one. But then again, I had like these certain expectations, and it turns out it I I automatically thought the tour was gonna be one of those where you get to they take you to, whether it's like, an old prison, or like some old mental institution or something with like, some history, especially some dark history. um it is known for paranormal activities and sightings. So yeah, I thought it was gonna be where one of those where, they take us to the place, and they can and we can just kind of venture through like certain areas of the destination, and just, feel the vibe, see if the energy changes, and see if we like hear anything or maybe spot something, one of those type of tours. But it wasn't. It was one of those walking tours. You get in a group, and you have a tour guide who's explaining the history of the city, and the ghost sightings that people have experienced over the years. So that's what that was. And it was a long tour. It was a walking tour. It was like 2 hours. I mean, hey, fucking, we got our steps in, after a big dinner, so it's all good. I'm all about burning them calories. So that was Monday. Then Tuesday, we did the Biltmore Mansion tour, which that's when I was thinking, all right, maybe I'll be able to capture something, because the last time we did a tour, blah blah blah, I just had all these fucking like made up speculations. And so we go to this one, and it was a huge mansion. Oh my God. The Biltmore Mansion, the Biltmore Estate. If you look it up, it's wild. I got plenty of video, so I will. And only 3 people live in this house. What the fuck? Titties. Hey there, fishy. Now don't be so coy now. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Toki, toki, toki. Alright, we're inside the Biltmore Mansion. Let's hope I catch some ghosts. One of us. One of us. Bro. Do you see it? Nah. Well, that's the tour. I tried keeping an eye out for ghosts or shadow figures, but I don't think I caught anything. Tried to take as much video as I could. I got to a point where I just got fed up with it because I started like there's so many other sound racist, but it just happens to be. But I would spell like other Asians and possibly Filipinos like doing the same shit. Like we're just being tourists. And I don't know, when I catch myself doing touristy shit, I have to like stop doing it. Like I make it known, like, all right, enough. With this many people, so many people touring through the mansion, that there was no way there was gonna be fucking ghosts. There's so much going on. So I didn't think I was gonna catch any ghosts. I try to look in like conspicuous areas of the room and like maybe I'll capture a shadow figure or something. But nah. So that was that. That was a double failure on possible paranormal experiences. So that was Tuesday, I think, right? That's pretty much what we did when we were out. I mean, that actually took all day, and we did get a little fancy after the tour. But there was a wine tasting that we did, so we got a couple of bottles of wine. That was great. Met this other couple that was like, so I think they were there. Well, I don't know if they were celebrating an anniversary like we were, but they had been married for 38 years, I think, which is like, wow, shit, that's impressive. So we got friendly with them, and it was a nice conversation. It's funny actually. It turns out that small world that we live in, because they were visiting from a town in Pittsburgh. So Nicole has family in Pittsburgh. We go there for Thanksgiving. So yeah, it turns out they're from the same area. So that was fun. Trying to think what else we did that day. Yeah, like a big portion of that day was at the Biltmore estate. Wednesday, I think we just had a dinner of reservation, and it was a fancy dinner. We tried, or I should say I tried. I've never really eaten at these types of restaurants, the tapas dining, where you have like you just order several small plates. And we went to it was like a Spanish tapas restaurant, and the food was good, but I don't know, it's not my preferred style of eating. Like I feel like that requires more strategic ordering as opposed to having one big meal that's like, because I'm such a meat and veggies type of guy. So anything where I can get, the maximum of veggies and protein, and sure, sometimes carbs, but I don't know. I'm just, like, I don't mind sharing, but it's just like whatever I'm gonna want to eat, like it's gonna be, on the meaty side. So I just I don't know. I didn't plan accordingly. I kind of played it uh I didn't play it smart with my orders. I ordered like it was a lot of I ate a lot of fancy pork. And for me, after a while eating too much pork, I can sometimes either get a little nauseous, um, from whether it's the greasiness or the saltiness. Um, but that was happening, and the last thing I ate, it was like a blood sausage, and it was good. Like everything was very flavorful. So there's that. But this one, it was like it wasn't bad, but like you had to I don't know. I've never eaten blood sausage before. So I felt like you kind of have to have a very particular uh taste palette for that, which I don't. I don't have a very what would be the best way to put it? Articulate uh taste palette. Um because I know what I like and I stick to it for the most part. Uh, but I don't want to I'm not sure. I don't want to speak negatively on the restaurant. It was delicious food, but I I could have ordered more veggie dishes, and I didn't. So I ordered four pork dishes,
Oh
pork in different
my
forms. I
God.
got pictures of them. One of them actually reminded me of a Filipino dish called Shanghai, and it's like basically rolled up, um, usually beef, sometimes chicken, but it's usually rolled up beef with like chopped up veggies, depending who's making it. So I've had it where they had chopped up little pieces of raisins in it with like carrots and peas. Some people just do it with just veggies, no raisins. Um, but anyway, kind of reminded me of that, but more heavier on the pork. Still good, but again, it was a lot of fried stuff. So like after a while, gotta it becomes harder to take it down. So that was Wednesday. That day was kind of like a vegging out day. Uh, and then Thursday, which was our last day there, we started heading back on Friday. So Thursday, we had the salt bath, which I was pretty stoked for. I was pretty vocal about it on the last episode. Um, but at first, I want to correct myself because I kept calling it CBD infused. Like I fucking misconstrued what Nicole said. It was it was a salt bath, but they gave us a bar of full spectrum CBD chocolates. So I guess just to add on more to the relaxation, because ultimately it was a salt bath. Like it was a nice big tub, and then we got in, and then they had like we had the salt to sprinkle in there. Beautiful view. There was a nice like outlook. There was like a little balcony, a couple chairs you can sit in and just enjoy this beautiful view. You can see like I don't know, like a little like the river up ahead, and you see all the mountains it's beautiful. I was mainly excited because I had these Brazilian mushrooms that my homegirl Vanessa gave me, and it was a small amount. It was like a microdose, but I took the whole thing, went in, and it was enough to give me, a physical and visual effects. Mostly on my face. Like I felt like a not a like sort of like a tension or numbness on my face. It was interesting. Like almost as if my face was drooping or something. Like I felt it was like a weird, odd pressure on my face. But and then visually, uh like I would look at the walls and the ceiling and I would see that it's like breathing very calmly, gradually. And when I would look out into like the trees and stuff, I would keep it would always look like um like you would see like the bush and it was like I would always imagine like this water, this like water level, and I could see the reflection of the bush, even though we were like elevated. We kind of like hiked up a little bit uphill into this like tree hut, like tree house ordeal. Um, so the fact like that, there was be zero chance of the water being that high, but looking out into the trees and everything, it just gave that illusion. So I would kind of look over until I would see the river. So just to like bring me back, like, oh yeah, okay. I'm I'm just tripping a bit. Uh, but it really amplified the relaxation of the whole soak. So it was nice. We were in there for an hour, and we actually didn't try the chocolates till we got back to the Airbnb. But yeah, we just and then the shrooms, like I'd say, like when I was feeling that sensation on my face, that was probably the peak of that trip. Again, it was a minor dose. Um, and uh so after that we went into the local town just to like check out their shops, and we stopped to eat. We had some, I had some pizza and wings, and man, the pizza was good. um and I had some ice cream. The ice cream is delicious. That's the thing about we is very evident in, we realize being in Asheville is how proud they are supporting like the local farming and everything. Like everything is made locally, and it's like you see it on, like on their merch, or just in these shops. So it was cool seeing how everything's like practically fresh. And the thing I wanted to add in there is that Monday we stopped at this place for brunch called Biscuit Head. And it's like I normally don't eat biscuits unless it's from like Popeyes or something, but I don't usually crave biscuits or anything. But this little restaurant like took biscuits to a whole new level with like the breakfast items, because you get these, like, I think they call it a cat head biscuit, and it's a biscuit that's like a shaped of an actual cat's head. It's like it's that big, and they'll either make these breakfast sandwiches with it, or just like have like top it with like some like jack you know jack cheese sauce, or they just fucking throw a bunch of shit in there. It's fucking delicious. It was so good that I was like, yo, we gotta eat there one more time before we leave. So Friday morning we stopped in, and there was a line, and fuck yeah, we waited on that line. It was totally worth it. And it moved pretty quick. So yeah, totally worth it. I do like Asheville. I fucking I don't know shit about, other states here. I haven't traveled around as much around the country itself. So it was cool. It was cool to see North Carolina. Um, yeah, I actually do enjoy road trips just because, I love listening to music. I like cruising, listening to podcasts, a little smoke and ride here and there on nice straightaway highways. Just smoke and ride. And yeah, just I always enjoy the conversations that me and Nicole have when we're on the road and even on vacation. Like, it's great. It's like a nice little reset. And in a way, it was kind of like a detox because I wasn't smoking weed. I didn't smoke weed all week, not until we got back. Um, it was, yeah, and then I wasn't as like I didn't work out hard at all during the week. Like, of course, I did enough just to get my body, warmed up for the day. Um, some full body exercises, but nothing crazy. Uh, so yeah, it was nice. And it's nice to get back into the day-to-day hustle. Even with the workouts, working out with the heavy weights again, it was a little humbling, but also kind of reassuring that like I still, I'm still connected with my body and like I can, you know, I can utilize the strength and everything. So yeah, just kind of gave my body a little shock when we got back, but it's been nice. I think I'm acclimating back to, or maybe recalibrating. I don't know. Bad at words. So that's, yeah, that was our vacation. Um Now let's switch gears because I do want to say you can expect some more solo episodes. I think we're getting close to the holidays, so I just feel like, you know, getting people, just having people invest their time, commit their time for the podcast, like such a hectic time of the year. So everyone's dealing with just holiday gift shopping and whatever, just other projects they're dealing with. So I get it. I didn't want to bother people. So I figured I'll probably do some of these for a while, and I hope I hope they'll be entertaining enough for you to tune in and keep on tuning in, even if you take some breaks. I always expect that. I don't expect anyone to take this whole episode in one sitting, unless you're on the road for that long. I guess like on the way to work or something or back. But anyway, we're gonna switch gears on to what I call the modern idiocracy, because again, I don't, it could be a million things that I've interacted on, at least my Facebook, for me to see some of the news articles that I see. So that's kind of how I'm treating the future solo episodes, is that over time I just, if I see these headlines that were anyway intriguing, entertaining, or just like plain stupid, in my opinion, obviously we all have different opinions and perspectives, but yeah, there's a couple of things that kind of grab my attention. I'm just thinking, humans being humans. Actually, one of the first thing I would get into is actually a good segue from our trip, because we stayed at an Airbnb. Now, as a skeptic that I am, I was I had my little skepticism at the Airbnb that we stayed at, which was nice. It was beautiful, and it was just to ourselves too. Though I thought we were gonna be like, dude, we would be staying with the family, like, because that's kind of how it was in New Zealand. This family had a big enough property where they had like this nice little like outhouse situation. Um, not an outhouse, but they had like a separate space for the visitors. So, um, yeah, I thought it was gonna be something like that, but it turns out we actually had this whole little ranch house to ourselves, which was nice. Um, but yeah, so I've always had my skepticism because I've had this talk with Vanessa on an older podcast on like how hotels and sometimes Airbnbs, how they depend, you got people that are fucking creepy as fuck. They got hidden cameras in certain areas of the property, of the room. And so, I would just kind of joke around about that with Nicole and be like, like, oh, I wonder, what if I walk around butt naked? Because like we had the whole house to ourselves. What if? And then they get footage of that and they're like,
Ah, God damn it. You need to shave, my man.
no, but yeah, so I've always had that skepticism. But I did now, I don't, again, like I haven't personally posted, like written anything out in a post about Airbnb. I've always just been vocal about it on podcasts. So, however, the data collecting for the algorithm on Facebook operates, but picked up something, and I don't know. I just feel like this was kind of just close to home in terms of like your Airbnb situation. I'm like, oh damn, we just got back from vacation. But all right, cool. Uh, but yeah, Airbnb sends customer quote unquote scary message to flee their rental without telling the host. The host finds out because the girl was like sharing everything on TikTok. That's what TikTokers do. They share everything about their lives. So they she shared it, and then she did like a follow-up video, and it seems like when you do a follow-up video, that's when you get caught somehow, whether you're in the right or wrong, but like that's when you kind of like get noticed. So the original video got sent to the host, and then that host reached out to them, like they didn't even know that she and her boyfriend left. So it just like it was just like a creepy situation because there had been speculations of the host like not following like the guidelines of, I guess, like Airbnb, like they violated some rules, and but the Airbnb wouldn't specify like what exactly they violated. They were pretty vague about it, so it was kind of like just, like the couple was kind of like left in the smoke of it. Yeah, and like I think past visitors have made these like outrageous complaints about the hosts, but I don't know. It's all sketchy. My thing is like, because they were like, I don't know if they were like surprised that the video reached the host, but I'm like, you kind of in a way, because in her TikTok video, she made like a whole thing. They're packing up, they're leaving, so you're getting interior shots of the Airbnb and an exterior shot. So now you know what the building, the place looks like. Yeah, shit gets around, and it ended up reaching the host, and right, isn't like, aren't you in a way that's like you're like doxing yourself, right? You kind of like, you kind of ratted yourself out because you sharing your whole life on TikTok or what, I mean, whichever platform, right? But seems like this is kind of like a thing that's happening. Um, so it's just funny seeing the human, like that's how things operate now. That's just like how people are now. Like we're all about, we have the power to share, but sometimes we overshare. I definitely overshare. I know this. I'm aware of it. So I'm trying to be more aware of that, but sometimes I like to push buttons. So, sometimes it's a reset. But again, like when shit like this happens, it's like, I mean, what do you expect? I guess like a happy ending to that is that Airbnb hooked them up with a nice hotel room. So there you go. uh Now there was another there was a video that was going viral, and I did one of those things where I've posted something and then I deleted it. Well, that type of act usually happens on Twitter, I believe, because a lot of UFC, Conor McGregor, big UFC superstar, he does that shit all the time. John Jones does it all the time, and I'm afraid I have done that as well with this one, just because, again, I push buttons sometimes, and I was like, all right, I don't know if I feel like, I don't know if I want to hear from the keyboard warriors, the SJWs. So I ended up taking it down, but it was a video of, and let me actually set this up too. Like I'm separating myself from the drama and all like the heartbreaking things that are happening in the person's life. It's like the act it's the decisions that they make after said bad news or something is happening. Because like I just think it's so fascinating how the mind works in terms of like just from like this terrible thing has happened. Now we got to record it and share with everybody, right? Um, so there's a video of this woman who uh I guess they own horses, they raise horses. So it's like her at her like I don't know what to call it, like a horse farm or what, but it's her at like one of the dens. And it's a very heartwarming video in terms of like um human and beast, man and animal. Like just the beautiful transcendent bond between two creatures, right? Because it's a video of this horse comforting this woman who's just downright just crying, bawling. She's just crying, bawling her eyes out, and this horse is comforting her, which is like very sweet, right? It's one of those like videos. I get it. And she was going through a very hard divorce, so you know I understand that. Like that shit's not easy. Uh, so that being said, I just think it's weird. I just think it's so weird that during all that turmoil, all that all like through that tough time, you still had a sense within you to prop the phone, set the phone somewhere to capture this angle where you can sit down and break down and cry and have the like I just feel like the setup was weird because it's like I don't know, like this is a terrible time to be in where you're going through such a rough, you're going through a divorce and it's not going well. I mean, well, what divorce goes well? I'm sure some when you have a mutual agreement. But I mean, this was clearly like hard times for the woman. And again, I just think it's kind of weird that you will still have the will in you to set the camera where you can get a decent angle and then you're just like it's framed, like you framed the shot and then you go sit down to finally let it all out. Like I've done something like that too. And I looking back, I'm like, I don't feel good about that. Like I don't like that act. It took the rawness from it. It took the authenticity out of it. It's definitely like a cry for attention. I feel like that's how I look at a lot of these types of videos. Cause again, like I understand like spreading awareness of something, but I don't know. I just see through that shit now. It's again, I don't expect people to agree with me, but that's just how I look at a lot of things nowadays. I feel like I think that the past couple of years has a big factor into that on how not just I but how a lot of people look at things now. Um so yeah, I just thought that was weird. I don't know. I figured what is me posting it on my Facebook and then it's just gonna trigger people. So I didn't want to trigger anyone I guess with that content. So I didn't, but I don't know. I guess I wanted to get that off my chest like that. Uh what's the word? Uh damn, I can't I know someone listens like you can get it, G, land it. I can't think of the word. Like I'm just always suspicious of that type of content. People recording themselves crying and in despair and stuff. It's like I don't know. Like I would have felt more. It would have been more believable. I don't know. It would be. I felt would have more. It would have been more authentic if, let's say, she there was CCT footage of the woman just finding a place to sit down and just let it all out, and it happened to be on this little staircase with the horses being able to comfort her. Like if it was like a yeah, if it was like a CCT video footage of that instead of, you know, an iPhone recording of it, it would have been more convincing. That's just me. If you've seen the video, maybe you'll understand what I'm saying. Um, what else? More TikTok stuff, because TikTok is my favorite app. That I don't use, but I hear things and I see things and cringe. It's cringy. I have thought about getting back on it. I think I've talked about it once. I don't know how I feel about it still, but these things that kind of happen with like people getting fired from their jobs because of TikToking. Like that shit is like, come on now. Like, I actually see both sides of the argument, though, right? I can see how, um, you know, when your boss, the company is strict, they have strict rules and policies. Like I can agree with that. There's definitely that, but I mean, fuck, man. I've done remote gigs. Like we all can relate to when we're fucking around, slacking off, or trying to multitask when we should be just focusing on the task, the job that we're getting paid for. I've been there, you know, so I get it. But I think it's the way again, going back to like oversharing. So we have the technology. Everyone has a voice. Everyone has a backstory. Like, but does one should one use that tool and really like expose themselves like that? Um, I don't know, but I just think it's funny when people are putting out. I mean, I guess it's like one of those like in the moment types of things where you don't think anything of it. You're just making TikToks and you're putting out there to be funny or whatever, and then you lose your job. uh, but one. There's one article. Uh, I guess this was like a nice high paying job, but basically this woman was attending a early ass group meeting at like 5 a.m. or some shit, which is early as fuck. And my only question would be in that regard is that it's like, all right, was it at 5 a.m. at your time because you're in the West Coast and a lot of people in the meeting were in the East Coast? So, like maybe it was 8 a.m. by them. I don't know. Right? Time zones? Was it because of the time zone? Uh so anyway, she during the meeting, she made a couple TikTok videos of like what she's doing during the meetings. And I guess there was like in one of the clips it involved like it was like the original audio, so you can hear the meeting in the background. Um, but I don't think they're talking about anything that's important that shouldn't be put out in public. Like I think, it was like I guess it just wasn't anything too important, but I mean, so anyway, she does like a follow-up video, I believe. And then either I guess that follow-up video somehow reached HR or the company and they fucking canned her. I guess just doing other things during the meeting. So like I kind of get it. I can see both sides. Like, yeah, like if there's a this a lengthy discussion going on that doesn't involve you yourself, like, yeah, sure, I'm gonna go make a coffee. Like, it wasn't like she was doing anything outrageous. Like, I think she was just getting coffee and I don't know, doing some other shit. Um, but yeah, you're making TikToks, and look, even though these things are only like 20 seconds long, 15 seconds long, the amount of work sometimes going into making a TikTok, it takes a few minutes. So like I can see like on one hand, it's like, all right, the company needs to chill because I mean, just judging by the content, not much was like nothing exclusive was being discussed and nothing involving that person, the employee in question was being discussed. So, all right, kind of like why not like have a warning? Um, but then on the other hand, I can see like, hey, bitch, like, are you not with us? Like, are you not present? Like, clearly not, because you're able to make a couple TikTok videos on what you're doing during this like this team meeting. So it's like, hey, you know, are you all in? Maybe not. I mean, I guess a happy ending for the chick because she has her own now she can fully invest on her side gig her and follow her dreams and this and that and the other. Like, all right, cool. I guess maybe you were quiet quitting. I don't know, but again, goes back to like your content reaching. Like, you kind of threw yourself under the bus there. Like, you were putting this stuff out, not thinking of any of the chances that this could reach your employer or whoever, reaching the person that you don't want it to reach, right? So, especially if you're working for like a big company, like, yeah, I guess they're gonna have people out there just making sure you got like a clean social media background or something. I don't know, but so there's that. And then the second TikTok related thing that caught my attention. The same shit too. This person got fired from her remote job because she was posting TikToks of other errands that she was pursuing when she should have been home working. So like, I don't know. I forget. Was she like just shopping or some shit? Like she was just yeah, just talking about running her errands, and she was supposed to be you know on the job doing whatever she does. I forget what she actually does, but yeah, I mean, what do you expect? And it's funny because like the like these TikTokers, it's so funny how they look to their followers for like advice, like even if it's just like to spark conversation or just whatever. But like, I don't know, I feel like when you like open to the audience on to help you make the like, it's like, yeah, like, I don't know, I feel like the influence of your audience can encourage you to make some irrational choices. So that's kind of like one of the characteristics I've noticed with these articles with these different people, is that they're TikTokers, so they're reaching out to their audience like, oh, what should I do, or blah, 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 blah. Like, ugh. It's like, just do your thing. Like, just come on, be a little more aware of what you're doing. Doesn't look good. I mean, I don't know, but she's probably running a side business too. Now she can focus on that. No, it's funny because people are automatically like, all right, get that, unemployment, collect, blah, blah, blah. And this girl, I guess she didn't work for this company long enough to be able to collect. But it's like, again, you're you're sharing all these aspects of your life where maybe there's definitely people that will enjoy it, but there will be people that will see it that frown upon it. Like you could say fuck those people, but like it's like, but if it's your boss and they frown upon it, and then you get fired, why why are you gonna bitch about it now? So again, come on, guys, be aware of what you're TikToking. The last thing I want to talk about is God, I feel like I sound like a grumpy old man when I bring up Gen Z, but there was this article that was in my feed that was kind of funny because it just kind of it relates to like snowflakes, just like current generation, how sensitive I guess they are. But hey, they're also very open minded, but sometimes a little too open minded, a little too woke. But anyway, Gen Z says the thumbs up emoji is passive aggressive.
Oh my god!
Oh my god. It's like, seriously? And it's so funny to me because I use that shit a lot, honestly. Um, I use it to confirm shit. Like, yeah, I agree. Or like, yeah, confirmed. Like, we're good. Uh, Roger that. I don't know. It's just like, oh, really? Like, come on, Gen Z. I know a lot of smart Gen Zs. I don't want to generalize, but this is like, come on. If this is true, also I should add that this is the sources where these articles come from. Like, like I don't fully subscribe to them. They're just these articles that pop up, and I'm sure there's a lot of false information and all that shit. So, but I mean, this shit pops up. There's got to be some truth to it. I mean, I can see like people being butthurt about emojis, but I just think it's so funny is with the thumbs up. I forget what the defense is about. Because there's certain emojis that just make you uncool and seem old. Like, all right, like, okay then. um, but it doesn't really explain why or how. It just says that the emoji, the thumbs up, is considered rude. It makes people who use it look old. So yeah, like it's so funny. Other emojis that make texters look old are the red heart, which is what I use, the clapping hands, I use that, and the check mark, which I don't use. All right. I don't use that often. If I do, I use that in my own uh post-it notes in my app, but not in conversation. But like, who gives a shit? Oh God. But I just thought that was funny. Like that, like you can't not think of them as snowflakes after that. But again, this is what? This is like Fox News. Like, yeah, doesn't Fox News get a lot of shit? So again, I don't fully subscribe to all of these articles, like, or the sources, but I just think they're funny when I see them. Like, I just, the headlines are funny to me. And I do think there's some truth to each thing. Like I see it within other people. You just see it all around. So it's just as an observation, I find it fascinating that this is sort of like a collective human behavior now. Um, but I don't know. I guess I thought I had something more positive to say. I guess to bring this home. I would just say, let's, as Dr. Ian Malcolm says,
Were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should.
we have the technology. We can really show our side, our perspective in life. We get to share all the insights, all the behind the scenes, and we get to show whatever we want, right? It's in our hands. The power is in our hands as long as we have a device. That being said, let's try to be aware. Let's try to be mindful. And I'm saying this out loud so that I myself am hearing this, because this is something I try to practice on a daily basis. Let's try not to overshare in our content. All right. Otherwise, before you know it, you're doxing yourself. You're making yourself available to your enemies. God forbid you have any enemies out there that want to hurt you in any way. Let's try not to overshare so much. All right. Especially, and onto that, I said, what? Don't dox. Let's try not to dox yourself when TikToking. Just as I was saying before, it's this type of content. It's great if you want to share information. You can share these life hacks and all that. You can share that with anyone all over the world. But like I was just saying before, you can risk your safety and your privacy, right? Because it depends on the context of your content, your initial intentions. But let's try to remind ourselves, let's try to be aware of that a little bit more. Of course, kind of going back to TikToking on the job. Don't TikTok on the job unless it's for the job, or you'll get fired. Okay? And if you are the type of person who gets offended by the thumbs up emoji, okay, don't. All right. I don't want to tell you what to do or what not to do, but I can assure you, at least most cases, people use the thumbs up just as a sign of confirmation, or even just like, hey, good job. Like, usually it's a good thing, unless you know the person you're receiving the thumbs up from. If you know that they are an asshole, I mean, hey, then that's them, right? But come on, don't be offended by emojis. Jesus. Again, just a little heads up. There will be more of these solo podcasts. I'm going to make sure, try to make it worth your while. Try to, have some interesting inputs on certain things and all that. Blah, 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 blah. Share some updates, all that good jazz. All right. So, if you've been tuning in thus far, I appreciate you. Please, again, be sure to subscribe if you're strictly listening on audio platforms. If you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel. Ring that notification bell so you can keep up with those current uploads. Feel free to visit the link that will lead you to all my active platforms if you want to continue to follow myself and my work. Yeah, so stay safe, stay healthy, always observe. All right. And if you're an artist out there, always remember to embrace the creative process, especially when you're facing challenges and adversity. Just always embrace those moments, because they truly help you grow. They always result in self-discovery. So again, embrace the creative process, and I will catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.